All right, and welcome in to the Bobby Carpenter Show. Pleased to have everybody in here with us. Finally, Schlegs, we're now into the thick of the season. We're into the part that matters. We're in mid-November. I don't know if anybody on their bingo cards had Indiana being a huge game at this point, but you know what? It is. And Buckeyes are going to be welcoming in the Hoosiers. You're going to have college game day, big noon. It is going to be a robust environment. It's going to be exciting. People are going to be juiced up and ready to go. So a lot of things are going for that. Coming off the heels of a 31-7 victory over Northwestern up in Wrigley Field. It said it was kind of a unique experience, unique environment. Talking to some of the guys about it. Field looked pretty good. The turf held up. It was really hard, I guess, Schlegs on the infield. And there was a little bit of a wave that you could see. Obviously, the arena style feel with how tight it was in some of the end zones, but everybody walked off the field and my keys to victory, whatever, sharp, secure, and safe. They started a little slow, but offensively got it rolling, defensively got the turnover, did give up that early touchdown, but outside of that looked very good, especially middle of the second quarter on. And everybody walked off and they checked all the boxes that you wanted to see, because now you're going to be in a situation where the game's going to be big. They're going to matter significantly. You've got a top 5 matchup coming up. But coming out of this Northwestern game, kind of what were your thoughts about everything that you saw there on Wrigley at Saturday at noon?
Ooh, Bob. One, great to have me on. Sporting my real truck 1620 USA shirt here, my Run the Damn Ball hat from Seth McLaughlin, about ready to marry Sarah McLaughlin, part 2. Here's my takeaway from the games is I was traveling and navigating the waters coming from the Underground Strength Con held in Orangeburg, New York, which is super fun. Watching this game, and I watched it twice. I watched it traveling, and I went back and rewatched it to where I could actually sit down and take more notes. There were some plays to be made. There were some sacks that we missed. There were some drives, Bob, and it really, like, you look at the totality of their offense really came in the first 2 series of the game. That's what Northwestern wanted to do, right? Like, the offense only had the ball for 1 possession the entire first quarter. So you look at that, you're going into the second quarter at 0-0. They started dialing and they started figuring it out, which is fine, man. Like, that's what's going to happen sometimes. And they figured it out to the tune of 31-7. To me, what I like is I love the brotherhood. I love the guys that are cheering on for Carnell, Tate in his hometown, making plays. The running backs running like very, very physical. The offensive line doing what they want to do. I mean, Northwestern, we already know this, Bob. Like, why are they pressuring so much, right? Like, I even said some of that when I'm watching. Like, why are we pressuring the guys so much? Well, the reason why, guys, is because their quarterback was 37% when pressured. So you're just going to keep pressuring them. Like, that's kind of why. But when you do pressure, you also got to get home. And then you saw him kind of take it back a little bit, dial it back the pressures, and he wasn't able to complete the balls that he was. So the guys were playing more zone, played pretty well. Having Sonny Styles, right, get 2 sacks in this game. CJ Hicks looked good off the edge. Like, just those kind of components. Overall team win, but still the physicality up front, being able to run the football when we wanted to. Those are kind of my takeaways. To your point, Bob, everybody left safe. And that was the main thing in a game like this. Though they didn't have the 28-point cover, right? It was 31-7. I said 38-0, what I wanted it to be. It could have easily been, 38-7, but very proud of the way this team performed up there in Wrigley.
So 100%. A little bit of a slow start, and Northwestern ended up being 6-16 on third down. So not overly dominant on defense that you'd like to be. It's sitting there in the low 30s, 40% or low mid 30s percentage wise. You'd like to be a little bit better than that. Ohio State 4-10 on third down conversions. Did go for it on fourth down 3 times, picked up 2 of them. Northwestern 2 of 4 on those fourth downs. So they were able to keep those early drives going. They won the time of possession battle 32-28. And you saw them bleeding the clock, snapping it with 10 seconds left on the play clock or less every single time. And because that's the way that if you want to play Ohio State, have any chance of beating them, or just really making it look as good as possible. And
Exactly.
away. It's hard to score a lot when you only get 3 or maybe 4 possessions in the first half. And so if you just bleed it down and you play a game of keep away like Northwestern did, that's going to make it a little more difficult. Now, Ohio State, here's the thing, Schlegs. I mean, opening the game, you have them on a 3rd and 13, and you give up a draw for a first down. Like, that stinks because they should have been 3 and out. You get off the field, you get the ball, you go down and score, and then you're off to the races. That didn't happen, and that led to a drive. You stopped them due to get a turnover, but still, that's what allowed them to bleed the clock. And so, to me, that was probably one of the most disappointing things is early on, you had a chance. You're going 3rd and 14, 3rd and 13. Like, it's way long. You have to get off the field on that, especially when they're running a draw, which they're really just running to try to pick up some more yards, give them some space, run a little clock, and then get moving.
Yeah, I'll also say this too. What impressed me was the deep balls that Will, and again, earlier in the year, and there's even been people like, well, why aren't we throwing it deep? Like, guys, Will Howard threw some great deep balls in that game. Like the one to Jeremiah Smith that got overturned. That was a great ball. The ball to Carnell Tate, like he's throwing the ball downfield. Like, again, that's a process. That's a timing thing. I think it's starting to mesh at the right time, along with the way that you're able to run the football for 173 yards in this game. They only had 50. I thought they were going to run a lot, rely upon that more. It was more of the quarterback in the run game that impacted them. You're going to see that this week versus Indiana. Maybe some things you got to, clean up. But to me, defensively, I thought they did what they had to do. They gave up 251 yards this entire football game. The last 50 came on the last drive. So it's like, guys, at 200 yards when everybody else was rotating in, and they still held them out of the end zone, right? So defense is doing their job. They're doing great. They've been playing at a very, very high level. I think the thing, it was like, they've given up like 10 points in some kind of ungodly deal. Guys, defense is playing really, really well. The offense is being able to run the football, and we're getting some deep shots down the field, and guys are making plays, and everybody came out safe. That's exactly what you wanted from this game, getting ready. And a side nugget, boom, hats off to the Buckeye fans for going out there because it was all Buckeyes in that place. The guys felt it. Coach felt it. Way to do your part.
Well, and Ryan talks a lot about winning. And plus, we talked about that fumble. Like, great job by Jack Sawyer there. And a play that probably won't get talked about very much, punching the ball out, creating those turnovers. But Ryan always talks about winning the middle 8 and the last 4 of the first half, last 4 of the first half, first 4 of the second half. You look at what they were able to do, go down, score a touchdown. Northwestern basically just runs the clock out. You get the ball at half, zoom, you go down and score. So you take that thing from being 14-7 to 28-7, and that's when it opens up. They get a turnover on downs, you get a field goal, and now the game is in hand. And that's what the final score ultimately was. They didn't even score, Schlegel, like you said, in the fourth quarter. And so there was a lot into this. People are worried about these slow starts. It's 11 a.m. And talking to some people that were down there, talked to our guys, Berm and Ward, and they said it was like a loose environment. It almost seemed kind of novelty-ish, like a bowl game. And that's what happens when you have an environment like this where you're playing on a baseball field. I think you kind of have a feel for it, like trying to soak in the environment a little bit. And I don't know if that attributed to what most people deem as a slow start. Like defensively, for me, it all came down to that first third down. Offensively, you'd like to be able to move the ball, and ultimately go get a score. You don't. You go down 7-0 after two drives. But it seemed like there was almost a novelty piece to it because you want to be able to start fast. This week against Indiana, that's got to change. But I'm not overly concerned about that based upon what I saw.
Well, I mean, if you look at that first drive, right, you hit the nail on the head. Get off on third down, right? Like that just kept the clock going. 7-minute drive, they get the ball back. Boom, you have a great – and Jake Butt even talked about, like, Q running violently, which I was like, yes, he did. I love the use of the V word, right? But then you have a 3rd and 10, and it's a great deep ball. JJ doesn't make the catch, right? That completely changed it. Now it's automatic.
Really nice ball. It was a really nice ball by Will, too. And if JJ's other arm wasn't getting pinned to his side, which he probably could have and maybe should have called PI on that, that's a touchdown. And Will put it right where it needed to be, right out in front of him.
And again, that's just how this works as far as the optics, right? Like they go down, boom, then you come right back, and all of a sudden you're already up 7-0 on the first series because you complete that pass, right? Because our offense is so good in the red zone. And then defensively, honestly, if you look at it, you want to nitpick some stuff, some of the longer passes, right? But some of those passes were like great balls, like back shoulder, great coverage. Guy just made a play. That's going to happen. You still held them to under 251 yards of total offense, guys. So I just say all of that to say this. I still think the guys played very hard. I thought they played very fast, and I thought they played violent for 4 quarters in a unique environment. And I'm not worried about the slow start because some of those things are you just make the play or you just get off the field on 3rd down. Like, oh man, they're starting really fast. Like that's what we're talking about in the perception of starting fast and starting slow, those couple of things. Guess what? Big noon kickoff this next week. You're going to have to try to do those things versus Indiana because you don't want them staying in it.
Yeah, it's and some people always look at the transit property. You're starting slow against Northwestern. You know, will you be able to start fast? And we'll get into this as the week goes on. Anything else from this game, Schlegel, that you were laying on that you looked at like cause for concern, things you really liked, stuff you were pretty bullish about?
Well, no, I just like the fact that G had a great pass right up the seam.
That ball to G was money. Will was throwing some darts on rhythm into tight windows. Very, very impressive. G being probably the number one example. That and Carnell's. Yeah,
Carnell's was awesome, right? And then you have like G making that play. I saw a block. Listen, guys. I mean, I'm just watching stuff. Jelani Thurman, right? He had the 4th down one. There was a run play. I believe it was on the goal line. And I'm watching this, and I watched Jelani because I worked with Jelani and I cared about Jelani. And I think he has an opportunity of being a really good tight end. And with Will Kazmarek being out, you see Christian Bennett in there, and you got Jelani going in there, and you'll see Pat Gurr in there, and G. Or Bennett Christian, sorry. Hey, right, I always used to make fun of him. No, I made fun of him. I was like, he who has 2 names, like dances with 2 names. Like that's the guy, right? Like dances with wolves. But he who has 2 names is what I would literally just call him to his face. Anyways, Jelani literally blocked his end into the running back because he cut back, went backside, and blocked him all the way into the opposite defensive end. That's what I'm looking for. I'm like, man, this kid is tripping. Like he's getting it right. And that starts with Coach Bailey. And we don't, it's not about catching passes, man. It's about blocking. Like that's how you win the Michigan game, right? Like being physical and tough. He's embodying that. Like I literally saw with my 2 eyes. Like that was a great thing. Watching Sonny, right, have 2 sacks in this game, right? Cody and what he's been able to do and be very, very consistent. The D-line and the rotation, I love it, right? Like we're getting to see those things. And our guys just playing with that violent mentality. But again, that starts up front on this offensive line. So those are all positive. You know me, Bob, I'm always a positive guy.
Oh, yeah. Positive dog Schlegel. We love it. Well, listen, we got Lathan Ransom coming up as we do every Monday here when he can join us. He's so generous to share his time. If you're watching on YouTube, please like, subscribe, leave your comments. We always appreciate it. If you're watching on Bally's, please follow the show, whether it's on YouTube, on X, follow both of us. Bobby Carp Show on YouTube and Twitter as well. Schlegel Valley on Twitter, BCarp3 for me. But right now, I'll tell you about Export. Attention parents and athletes, protect what matters most with Export mouthguards, trusted by professional athletes, designed by NHL team dentists. Export mouthguards are scientifically proven and tested to absorb high-impact hits, protecting both your teeth and your brain. Export mouthguards feature 3 layers of advanced protection, patented carbon fiber that's going to be custom printed 3D straight to your grill. Unbelievable technology means more protection, better performance, max comfort, clearer communication so you can focus on your game, not on your gear. Don't take chances with your safety. Exportguards.com/Bobby. Save 15%. Export, protect what matters most. Lathan Ransom, Buckeye safety, coming up next. I'm Garage Beer, and this is Bobby Carpenter.
Garage Beer. Beer flavored beer.
Beef with an F? Okay, my bad. It's crisp and cool, and it doesn't taste like... I'm Bobby Carpenter. I drink in garages because my wife says I don't belong inside. If you like a cold breeze on your bag, drink garage beer. It's American, and so can you. Garage beer, beer-flavored beer. All right, now it's time to the program. We'd like to welcome in our guy, Mr. Lathan Ransom. Lathan, unique experience playing in Wrigley, probably something you never thought would happen. What was it like playing in a stadium, a structure that was kind of unique as that?
Yeah, it was definitely different. I mean, first of all, what was funny is our locker room was up like 40 stairs. We had like 40 stairs. We had to walk up to get in our locker room, then walk down. So that was definitely something new. Halftime went in there. We were in the kind of dugout area during halftime. The field was obviously structured different. The layout of just the whole stadium was different where the fans were. Like the fans were right behind us on our sideline, and then there were certain areas that were a little farther and stuff. So it was a cool experience. My first time in Chicago, and man, that city is beautiful. I was talking already to Stu and some other people. As soon as we get a break, or as soon as I can, I definitely want to travel back there and really get the whole experience of that city because I've heard a lot of great things about it. And just from the little bit I was there, man, it looked really cool.
All right, dog. So we talked about the footing and stuff like that. I bumped that stuff. Let's go right into the game. One thing coming out, right? Talk a little bit about getting off the field, and what that does, like that mindset for defenses, because they had that first 3rd and long, right? Obviously, you want to get off the field, but then what's the mentality? Like, hey, we just got to regroup, go to the next one, and just keep playing the way that you guys did, ultimately getting a turnover in the red zone.
Yeah, that's something that we definitely talked about this game. Is something that we had to improve on is getting off the field on 3rd down. We got into 3rd and long multiple times, and then we give up a 1st down, and that's something that we normally don't do, but we did that. But like you said, it's in those plays, them 3rd down and long, when you get them, that takes the air out of a defense. So the leaders on our defense do a great job of, all right, guys, come on, we got to get a stop, or talking the guys up into, let's get a stop this drive or get a big play. And on that first drive, we got that turnover, which was huge by Jack, made a great play. And just continuing to, not to bend but not break. But no, we definitely looking forward, need to get off the field on those 3rd downs and execute, because it wasn't really them. It was us not executing at a high level.
Oh, I mean, listen, like it happens. Sometimes you get passes, you get penalties, all that. The draw, I think, was the particular dagger that people looked early on, because you get them at 3rd and 14. It feels so good. Boom, get off the field, starting fast, and get it rolling. So you guys are keeping working on that and keep grinding, obviously, away. A lot of TFLs, a lot of sacks this game. Did it feel like when you're in the game, does it feel like maybe Knowles is calling a more aggressive game sometimes, or is it just a product of maybe guys getting home? But it felt like there was a more aggressive play calling here, especially on 2nd down, trying to get after the quarterback.
Yeah, I think Coach Knowles did do a great job, calling a couple more aggressive plays. And I think what Northwestern did such a good job is, like you guys said, they're trying to chew the clock and use the clock as much as they can. At the beginning of the game, the quarterback was doing a great job of scrambling fast and scrambling a lot faster than either it was designed run or just on the pass, scrambling quicker than, we'd anticipate, which, when you got rush lanes and stuff like that, he's stepping up in the rush lanes kind of quick. It's hard to get sacks in the quarterback. So I think in the 2nd quarter and the rest of the game, Coach Knowles did a great job of creating pressure, everyone staying in their lanes and their gaps, and got a lot of TFLs and a lot of sacks, which, let us get off the field and let us be able to turn the game.
I mean, you're in the back end, but the threat of a quarterback run, right? Like you guys are doing your job back there, just, blanketing people, right? And then boom, that guy takes off. Like, how difficult is that for a defense?
It's extremely difficult, especially depending on the call we're in. See if we're in a zero or a man free. All of us playing defense are looking at our man, so all of us got our backs turned to the quarterback. So when he's able to scramble like that, where we don't know what's going on, so that makes it extremely hard. And then it just messes up timing when we're in a zero or we're in a blitz or a pressure. And as a DB, we're expecting the ball to come out kind of quick. So when he's able to scramble and extend plays, maybe you're sitting on the route because it takes a certain amount of time for to get the ball out and extend them plays. Now we got a plaster, and that's a lot. It's a lot harder than people think. So it definitely creates more issues. And then when if they want to get the running back, use him as a blocker, and run the quarterback in some power or those type of schemes, that adds another blocker. So then that adds another number, which can outnumber us if we're not on the right call. So it always creates issues and creates problems when you're facing a running quarterback.
So, this time of year, Lathan, you got 10 games now in the bag, sitting at 9-1. You've been here 4 times before. When you get to this time of year, how does it feel differently from now being a guy who's, a veteran player who's played a lot of snaps versus maybe your freshman year, sophomore year, and you're a guy that's battled a lot of injuries? Everything is kind of right in front of you. Play your whole season to get to this point. You train all summer for it. Now that it's here, the perspective that you have.
First of all, I'm blessed to be here because I wasn't here at this part of the season last year, and I'm excited. I don't know if I might be the most excited person, to play in these last couple games, these big games, because from now on, even though from Oregon on, really, these are all playoff games to us. These are playoff games to us. These are big games. These are win or go home. Like you said, everything is right there in front of us. A top 5 matchup in the shoe. Excited this weekend. The fans need to be loud. The energy needs to be electric because these are the games that come to Ohio State for, man. Super excited. Indiana's done a lot, really well this year. They're an exciting team, and we can't wait to play them. So I can't wait. I'm itching to play this game. I'm itching for the matchup, and I can't wait for Saturday to come.
All right, I got one for you, man. So Jake Butt, Michigan guy, don't hold it against him. He's from Pinkerton. He said on the call that he basically dubbed Caleb the boogeyman. Now, there's a lot of different ways that I've looked up how to spell boogeyman, and then when you type in boogeyman, it'll auto-correct you on your tweet or on your cell phone, and it's bogeyman, right? Like bogey in golf. Like, that's neither here nor there. Do you like that nickname for Caleb as the boogeyman? And do you yourself have a nickname that everybody calls you there in the facility?
For Caleb, I've heard a couple nicknames thrown to him. I think the boogeyman, that's a good nickname. You have to ask him if he really likes that. I have nicknames that my friends give me and stuff like that. I don't even know if y'all get it, but they say smirk because I'm always laughing and smirking and around. But we get called. I think the nickname that the defense gave me, because we all got nicknames on the board, is crash dummy, just because we flying around throwing my body in there. But I think the nicknames are fun. I think like Caleb's been flying around and making a lot of plays, and I think that he does a great job probably putting fear into some of them quarterbacks and them offensive coordinators' heads.
Has anyone ever made up a nickname for your pigeon toes? Like, do we ever lock on that, Lathan, at all? Like, does anyone get you with that?
Like the penguin?
I've been hearing those jokes since I was little, and Bobby makes sure that they remind me every time I see him the fix the way I walk. But I've definitely been hearing that since I've been walking like that my whole life, so I've heard them jokes 1,000 times.
It's a testament, Lathan, to your athleticism, because I've never seen anybody that's that pigeon toe before that is able to play that well on the back end, man. It's really impressive. Like, I see it. I'm always blown away by it. One of the other big things, and Ryan did a good job of articulating this, and this as well as anybody. Guys that get hurt, the longer you play, the game doesn't care. Like, when you get out on the field, they don't care what's going on. Your mom could have passed away. You could have had a sibling that's sick. You could be hurt. Girlfriend could be breaking up with you. All these other things that happen in your life. None of that stuff matters. But Ryan says, you guys care. Obviously, the team cares about the different players. And, being around Carnell as long as you have, knowing that he's a Chicago guy, going back there, battling injuries like you did last year, but the personal experience with his mom and everything. Like, what was it like being around him and the emotions of the team for him heading there, but then also the way that he was able to play and the game that he was able to have?
Shout out to Carnell. I don't know if there's a lot of other players that, could have gone through what he's gone to and, go back to the city and then play the way he played. Like, that says a testament about the person he is. But I think it was cool. The whole team wanted him and wanted him to go and do what he did. And being Carnell, there's 3 other receivers. We have such a talented receiver group that, he maybe doesn't get the love he deserves all the time, but Carnell's the number 1 receiver on any other team in the country. And I was glad that he got to go out there in his city, in front of his family members, and show how great he really is, because, I think he can do that any game he wants to do that with the right opportunities. And he went out there, balled out. Faced adversity all season, faced adversity last season, and man, I'm just so excited for his future because whatever he does, he's gonna be successful at it. And he went out there, balled out, and I think he's gonna have another big game coming up.
Yeah, Jalen McClain got the special teams player of the game. He's in your room.
Yep.
Any cool things that you did? Because I mean, again, like you're the elder statesman in there, and Caleb, because you and Caleb both have those old souls and you guys have both played a lot of ball and you got some really good young dudes in there. How cool was that for one of your guys for the power of your unit to get that? What'd you say to him? And how has his practice allowed him to step up and be the player of the week this week?
Yeah, Jalen's a dude that does all the little things right. Kind of like you said, maybe I want to say an old soul, but a dude that comes in and as a young guy going there in the meetings, knowing all the plays, knowing all the checks, in the special teams, always competing at a high level, always going full speed, always going 100 miles per hour. That you guys might have seen in some of the practices, and then that carries into special teams. And you guys know around here, the dudes that are young guys that make plays on special teams, they're gonna make plays whenever they get the chance to play defense or offense. And he's a dude that embodies that, and he deserved it. He goes out there, works hard. The special team highlights aren't always shown to the fans out there watching the game, but out there killing it on special teams, killing it at practice, and he has a really bright future ahead of him. So I'm excited to see what he does because every time he's on the field, he makes plays, man.
What is it like? You talk about the special teams highlights. That's one thing that offense, defense, everybody watches together, and you see that. And a lot of teams, do that on Sunday, usually in your post-game wrap. That experience watching that, and especially Lathan being an older guy, and you're on some of the stuff, but mostly younger guys out there. How much of a team building and when you watch young guys make plays, especially in your room, on those special teams highlights, how big is that?
It's a huge deal. When I got here for my freshman year, I learned fast how important special teams is, and I don't think you noticed that. In high school, I'm kind of just, oh yeah, special teams. Like I really cared less in high school, but then you get here, and it's probably one of the most important things, or not the most important units, because you got dudes you got to fly around on kickoff, and we make a big deal on our kickoff team and kick return team. That sets the tempo of the game. That's the first play of the game. That gets the juices going, that gets the sideline going. And when I first got here, all the best players would try to get on special teams, even though some coaches might not let them. You're trying to get on special teams as much as you can because it shows how unselfish you are as a player, and it sets the example for the younger guys. Because as a young guy, all you want to do is, if you can't get on the field, is get on special teams. And I think our young dudes do a great job of getting on special teams and stepping up and competing at a high level. And our coach this year takes special teams as important as offense and defense. And Coach Dave being there, making sure that the special teams meeting are ran the way he wants it to be ran. So, we take special teams extremely serious.
Because you feel like Coach Day, given that he's not calling plays now and you see him at practice and he's kind of around, he can roam a little more, that special team emphasis, not that it wasn't there before, but his presence being there out on the field and then in the meeting room.
Yeah, I think his presence is felt. Offense, defense, special teams, everywhere. His presence is felt, and he does a great job of holding everyone accountable no matter what your job is, no matter if you're the DC or you're one of the GAs. He holds everyone accountable at the same level, the players at the same level, and Coach Day, he's the best head coach in the country for a reason. So, he holds us all to a standard, and that standard needs to be held, and it's up to the standards. So, his presence is felt.
Absolutely, Lathan. We'll get you out of here quickly on this one. You mentioned Carnell, like obviously he doesn't talk a lot. Who do you think talks less in the receiver room, him or JJ?
I'd definitely say JJ. JJ definitely probably talks the least amount in the receiver room, but I think that's probably unfair because me and Carnell got a pretty cool relationship and close relationship. So, probably JJ.
All right. Well, I appreciate it, Lathan. Listen, man, get back to work. You guys got another big game day, big noon, all of it here for you this noon as you guys take on the Hoosiers, dude. Excited for you to see you wrap up the season and stay healthy out there.
Appreciate you. Thank you, guys.
All right. That is the Lathan Ransom, one of the best, one of our favorites, does a great job, joins us when he can. Articulate, smart dude. And Schlegel was awesome watching him play this weekend. And like you said, he didn't get a chance to finish this year. That's what last year. So I was curious, like, dude, it's all right here now. Like, your final two games are going to let you know what you can do to get that third game. And like you said, every game's a playoff game. So,
Yeah, absolutely, Bob. Absolutely, man. Yeah, I just appreciate his perspective because a lot of people could feel bad for themselves, but he knows, hey, man, I got 63 days. Everything that we want is out there in front of it. I'm going to appreciate it. I'm going to go hard every single day. He's smirking, right? Papa smirk automatically popped into my brain because he's just older. Like, that's Lathan, man. He's just joyful. He loves playing the game of football. It is contagious. Grateful that he's a Buckeye.
Papa Smirk, not Papa Smurf, Papa Smirk. All right. Coming up, listen, we got some other stuff. I want to talk a little bit more about Carnell, Tate, and some of the other things and some of the playoff brackets. How's it going to look? Find out next here on the Bobby Carpenter Show.
We were called soft last year. You don't want to be soft, especially when you come to the playoffs. So that's going to be a process throughout this season of establishing us as a harder team here in the
I'm Garage Beer, and this is Bobby Carpenter.
Garage beer. Beer flavored beer.
Beef with an F? Okay, my bad. It's crisp and cool, and it doesn't taste like. I'm Bobby Carpenter. I drink in garages because my wife says I don't belong inside. If you like a cold breeze on your bag, drink Garage Beer. It's American, and so can you. Garage Beer. Beer flavored beer.
I don't buy into this nonsense, this conspiracy nonsense that he's got his money and he's dogging it. That's ridiculous.
Welcome back in the program. Great job by our friend Lathan Ransom. One of the great guys you're going to find out there. Great dude, great player, and excited to have him be part of the show here on Mondays when he can make it, which is just about every week. Next week, who knows? Like, he's got team up north, tight week. We'll see if they're able to get out and get some stuff done. If not, no worries at all. But talking a little about Carnell Tate, and huge day for him, and subsequently a big day for Will Howard. So we'll get into Will Howard and some of his stats, but I want to make sure that we land on Carnell Tate a little bit too, because I tweeted out there during the game that he's like the cloaked dagger for the third receiver for this Ohio State team. JJ's always going to get the coverage role to him, and now they're starting to bracket and do some things inside with Emeka, and doing that, you're putting basically Carnell Tate on an island out there with the receiver, and you watch him come in. 4 catches, 52 yards, 2 touchdowns. Like, he can do that for you probably each and every week. And he can probably have more yards than some bigger plays over the top. He's fast. He's long. He has good run after the catch. And I think it's kind of been undersold. And Brian Hartline will tell you this all day. He's like, I don't have, a third receiver. He's like, I got 3 number ones. And that's basically true. But Carnell is kind of – he's not the phenom freshman. He's not the senior, in Emeka. And he's a quiet guy. He's just over to the side. But, man, he is so good. And I thought he had as much talent as Marvin did when he was here. And now he's overshadowed a little by JJ. But this is something I think that you can see from him, Schlegs, on a regular basis, because he's going to be able to have these opportunities.
Yeah, we actually, Bob, you and I discussed this earlier in the year. One, I absolutely love Carnell Tate, the way he carries himself, the way he trains. His smile, like, you guys got to see his smile, right? After on the post game and around his teammates, like, I got to see that firsthand. Great smile. Worker. There are no number ones. They're just, number threes. Like, they're just all number ones. And that's a testament to Brian Hartline, testament to his development. One thing that I think it doesn't get spoken enough is the development on the offensive side of the ball. Obviously, Brian does a phenomenal job. Guys, we're going to be using them a lot more as we get down this stretch, because defenses, what do defenses do? They try to take away the one thing that you want, right? Belichick talks about it all the time. So if you want to take away the short intermediate route with Emeka, or you want to take away the deep route or whatever with JJ, well, then guess what? Now you got Carnell Tate along with a running game. Like you got to figure it out, defense. And then offense has to just go out and execute, which they did in this game. Him being able to do that in his own city. And we've had opportunities, Bob, like whether it's you go and play against teams that recruited you. I got to play against Texas, right? I played against Notre Dame. That was one of the schools that I loved when I was younger, right? Like those games matter. But for him and in his circumstance, being able to go back here and just watching the excitement of his teammates for him, to me, indicates how good he is of a person, that they want that for him, right? Because they've been your dudes in that room are the only ones that truly know how you feel, the gravity of the situations that you've been through, the trials and tribulations. And it was just fun watching him and Hartline and him and the other guys like experience this together on Saturday. And I believe Carnell's going to have a big year. I said it from the very beginning, man. It's gonna pop. And this was the game.
And like you said, the emotion, and that's what Ryan Day, the game doesn't care. And I'll tell people that all day long. The game does not care. It's relentless, but your teammates care for you. Your coaches care for you. And like to know what Carnell's been through with his family, going back home, 50 tickets, it's a big, big deal. And you never got to go back and play in Texas when you were here. I can only imagine what it'd be like, because when I was playing in other cities in the NFL, like coming back to play in Ohio was as good as it got. And it was amazing. And to see that and to know everything and how emotional it was for him to return home, tremendous. And so the guy who's the beneficiary of that, Schlegel, Will Howard, 15 of 24, 247, 2 touchdowns, 0 picks, no critical errors, no turnovers. And if you look at his efficiency and what he's been able to do, Pat, if you want to throw that up there, with how talented Will is, and everybody said, like, couldn't throw the deep ball. Was he that accurate? With what he's been able to do, it's been utterly amazing. And you see, his passer grade, his rating, whatever it was, 90, the highest rated passer in week 12. And I even saw something else, like his first 4 weeks with where he was to where he is now improved dramatically. I mean, he's up like 8 to 10 percentage points, completion percentage, his passer ratings through the roof, his touchdown interceptions look great. Like, Will has gotten better throughout the season, which is what you thought would happen if you put him in an offense like this. He's been very efficient. He's been very productive. And now you're starting to see that, and he's able to spread the ball around, which is probably one of the best things he does. And also the intermediate throws, but then you got to see that deep ball, which allegedly he couldn't throw, Schlegel. It looked pretty darn good to me on Saturday.
Yeah, I mean, I actually just popped it back onto our screen, so if Pat wanted to throw that up. But, like, he was 68% in the first 4 games, and he's been 78.6%. And, again, we're going back to a guy, right? The portal comes out like this dude in his career has been 61% at the highest, right? And he comes to Ohio State. He gets coaching. Does he have weapons now? 100%. Like, we're not taking that out of, like, the equation here. But it's just the efficiency, right? The first 4 games, 8 touchdowns, 2 picks, right? Pass per attempt, like 9.9. Now he's at 9.5, but 14 with 3 picks, 14 touchdowns, 3 picks, passing efficiency 190.3. Matter of fact, I think through 12 weeks, like, he's the highest graded quarterback in the country in that, completing 78.6% of his passes. Guys, the developments there, along with what? The understanding of the offense, of what? Understanding what my role is on this offense, which is actually very different than my role at Kansas State, where I had to go be the guy all the time. I don't now. That goes into it. But where he really shines, though, Bob, is in just being Will, right? Just being Will, being the leader, playing with passion, scrapping, right? Running the show. Like, that's what Ohio State needed. And they're also getting the production with it, which is something special. I'm happy it's happening for him.
Yeah, he's done a great job, and he's only gotten better. And if you watch some Schlegel, you talked about the seam. We brought it up earlier. The seam to G.
Boom.
Really impressive. You looked at the one that he's threaded in there to Carnell. Then you look at his deep balls down the field. The one that was probably the most impressive was the one he put on JJ that was just outside of the defender's hands. And if JJ could got a second hand on it, if he wasn't probably getting held, then you know what? He'd have the ability to have another big touchdown. And so, like, Will has done everything you've asked. He's improved as the season went on, which is not something that everybody can say that they do. This offense fits him. He's been able to run the ball when needed. Like, obviously, they didn't run the ball a lot with him on Saturday because you didn't need it. Like, you don't want to put him at risk. So, he just had the one sneak where he didn't obviously get in, and Quinshon scores the next play. But he's putting up the numbers. In the next 3 games, if he plays the way that he can and should, I honestly think Ohio State will win all three, and that's including the Big Ten championship game. And that'll put him in conversation for the Heisman. I don't know if he'll win it because I don't think he's got enough buzz throughout the year, which is unfair. But I think he'll be a finalist and he'll be in New York because he's going to have all the numbers that you need, unless he just implodes. And if he implodes in one of those games, they're probably not going to win it anyway. But he's given me no reason to believe that would be the case and that would happen this year.
And the other thing too, much like Troy in 06, that game of the century, 1 versus 2, like that was really the feather in the cap of his season. Let's not kid ourselves, man. Travis Hunter is an absolute dog, right? Like, I mean, the things that he's doing on both sides of the football. Genty, right? 25 touchdowns with 2 weeks to go. Just a dog, right? But if Will goes out there and has those, again, top 5 matchup, right? So you had Oregon top 5 matchup. You had Penn State top 5 matchup. You have Indiana top 5 matchup. Yeah, Michigan got to win that one, right? But then a Big Ten championship top 5 matchup. You do that and play like this and shine over those next 3 weeks, Bob, there's a real chance that you could actually win it and flip that conversation because you have been the most valuable player in college football.
Absolutely. Well, we got some players of the game. We got some big news with coaching hirings and firings coming up next here on the Bobby Carpenter Show. Field. All right, let's go to our headlines brought to you by our friends at Affinity Whole Health. They offer personalized treatment plans to help people feel better, whether you're struggling with weight loss, low energy, muscle loss, poor sleep. Affinity can help you with all of that. Affinity provides expert guidance and support to help you safely reach your health goals. So here's what you do. You go to affinitywholehealth.com. You schedule your free consultation. You go there. They come in. They do some labs. They do some workouts. Say, hey, workups. What do you want to do? What do we want to achieve? We'll put a plan together for you. Maybe it's TRT. Maybe it's semaglutide for weight loss. Maybe it's both. We've got some other things. No matter your age, no matter your gender, dudes, dudettes, any age of life, they've got something for you. So go to affinitywholehealth.com and go check them out today. All right, Schlegel, we've got some headlines here. We're tight on time, so we only got time for a little bit. So let's hit quickly the player. We'll save some of the coaching, hiring, firings for later, but let's get to our players of the game. Sonny Styles, silver bullet of the game. And Schlegel, he's been a guy that I know there's been some people that have been a little bit, I wouldn't say upset, but maybe underwhelmed with his performance this year. Like they thought he was going to come in and be Ray Lewis and Brian Urlacher put together like the first day. Never played linebacker before. I told someone, wait till week 10. He'll be a lot better than week 2. Here we are at week 10, 6 tackles, 2 TFLs, 2 sacks. Dude, his stat stuff and looks like a natural.
Yeah, I mean, guys, let's not kid ourselves. Guys like 220 pounds, starve himself to play safety, gets transition, 238, 200. I mean, really, facts. I mean, like, he's a kid, right? Like, he's just growing. Like, feed that dude. Well, now he's 240, right? And he's able to run and play. And again, here the point you made earlier, Bob, which is a great point. Besides moving from safety to linebacker, is that he also played all 3 positions of linebacker. Guys, you know how difficult that is to come from a completely different power of the unit group and change positions, and then within that position, know every position. That's bumpy, and he's done it. And now he's starting to stack them, which is fantastic.
Yeah, looking good, very impressive, stacking that and continually getting better. We've talked a lot about this. We're going to do our offensive player of the week. What do you say, stack them vertical, count them sideways, Schlegel. That's what we're all about here. Offensive Player of the Week, no surprise, a guy returning home. And this is something you do in the NFL a lot when a guy goes to a former team or goes somewhere else. You want to make sure you feature him. Carnell Tate got featured in the way that you would have wanted to see him up there, and he answered the bell. Just because you feature the guy, he's got to go make the plays. 4 catches, 52 yards, one tremendous touchdown catch, another one where he took a big shot, but 2 TDs. And for a guy being, quote, the third receiver, Schlegel, he does a pretty darn good job.
Yeah, no doubt, man. This is very special.
Look at that. Holes over top of it. Unbelievable.
Boom. We knew it was going to happen. Like this was going to be it. But he had to go out there and execute, and he did in a big way.
Did it bigly, and really happy to see that out of him. And then lastly, Schlegel, let's get to our special teams player of the week as we throw that up there. Get a chance to see your guy, McLean, and what he was able to do and balling out there, Schlegel. Not everybody probably sees this, but like Lathan said, you see it in the room. You know what these guys are about. You know how talented they are.
Yeah, Jalen's one of those guys that's an extremely hard worker from the jump, all in on working on his craft. He does, and honestly, Lathan hit it the nail on the head, man. The guy goes hard at everything, and that really resonates with everybody else, especially the older guys. Hey, all you parents, all you kids out there, you want to make a name for yourself? Practice and train really, really hard. People notice, everybody on the team notices, coaches notice, and you make your hay by playing special teams.
Absolutely. All right, that's it for headlines brought to you by Affinity Whole Health. Coming up next, we got the Tailgate Talk brought to you by Real Truck.
Get the most out of work, life, and all your outdoor adventures with top-selling upgrades for your truck. Guaranteed fit, free shipping, easy install, expert support, and thousands of dealers just a click away. Bring your truck to life. Real Truck. Upgrade today and save between $50 and $400 on select Real Truck products. Visit realtruck.com/specials.
All right, Schlegel, it's time for Tailgate Talk brought to you by our friends at Real Truck, and they've got a great opportunity here for all our local listeners. There you go, Schlegel. Real Truck. Go to realtruck.com, and when you do, they've got awesome accessories for your truck, Jeep, or Bronco. You spend $100, and at exit, use promo code Bobby. They're going to get you a free hat. So it's real easy. They've got unbelievable stuff for the interior, exterior of your truck. Make sure you check them out. You go there, spend $100 at realtruck.com, promo code Bobby at checkout, and you get the free hat with the spending of 100 smackaroos or a Benjamin Schlegel. So go check them out, just like Schlegel and I did. All right, here we go, Schlegel. We've got a question for you. It's coming from Healthcare Eric, EAB, got a little flag, a block O, a nut, and his emoji, maybe a Buckeye potentially. So would love to get your thoughts on where IU could possibly exploit the Buckeye defense and offense. What is one player you feel is the key to the Buckeye victory? Hashtag Go Bucks.
Bob, you want to start or you want me?
I'll start it, and we're up against, so I'm going to keep it fairly quick. So what I think Indiana's going to do, they're going to try to get Ohio State in some third and long situations. They run an exotic blitz package. They want to keep, obviously, the game close. They've got they've got really good football players, maybe not the most physically gifted guys. So I think they're probably going to try to exploit the offensive line with some blitz situations, be real aggressive with that when Ohio State's on offense. Defensively, they got a really good quarterback in Curtis Rourke. He's nothing to smirk about, Schlegel. He's a talented player. And they've got one good wide receiver, Servant. Gosh, I can't think of his thinking name right now. It'll come to me in a minute, but he's good. So I think they'll probably throw it up. He throws really good back shoulders. So third downs, you'll probably see some of that. Second downs, maybe on first, get some shots. Surratt. So he's a good back shoulder guy. So I think that's probably where they'll look at, either try to draw some penalties or make the big play.
Yeah, I like your point there, Bob. You got to do something to the offensive line to round. But number one thing is you got to get it behind the stick. So that means you got to win first and second down if you want to do that with Ohio State. Two, defensively, I think the quarterback run has been kind of one of the things that allow people to sustain drives. I think that's something they're going to do. And we've also seen some of those bigger, deeper crossing routes in zone. The better we can get by getting depth in the middle or man matching that on the perimeter, which I saw Sonny do a couple of times really, really well. That took some things away, that forced some things. That's what we got to do, because when you saw us play zone and we're just out there in the zones, when you face really good wide receivers and a really good quarterback, they're just going to sit down in the zone. So you either got to man match it or you got to get pressure on the quarterback. That's how I see they're going to try to exploit them.
We got more Hoosier Breakdown. That is Tailgate Talk, brought to you by our friends over at Real Truck. Go check them out at realtruck.com. Coming up, Schlegel will wrap up the show with his parting thoughts. All right, Schlegs, give us your parting nugget.
Parting nuggets is this. College football is fantastic, right? I mean, there's so many things going on. You got the SEC, it's complete chaos. You got people talking about, let's come down here and play in games, and other people are playing Mercer and UMass and stuff like that, right? Then you got the Big 12, like who knows what's going on? ACC, who knows what's going on? You got a big-time matchup this week. Buckeye fans, buckle up, Buttercup, because it's happening in the shoe. Make sure you get out there. You be loud. Tune in all week because it's going to be quite frothy.
Buckle up, Buttercup, Schlegs. Love to see that. Well, that's it for today's show. We got another big one coming at you tomorrow with Bill Bender, 12:30, Bobby Carpenter Show.